few questions already that we will get to shortly after our next speaker, Afolabi, who's going to be talking about turnkey logistics solutions for selling in the US. So why don't you take over, Afolabi?
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you. All right. So, hi everyone. It's good to be here. Thanks, Mike, for putting this together. I've learned a lot from everyone. Elena, Kitty, Alex. Hi, how are you? All right. So that we can get into question and answer, I'm going to breeze through this real quick. Um, I just titled it "One Little Known Logistics Secret That Could Be a Massive uh, Profit Booster for Your Business This Year, and why on earth are sellers not doing it?" Um, okay. So what I do in general, I'm a co-founder with Norm Farrar for Onu Worldwide. We just help brands to save money as their products travel from just a simple idea till it gets to the end user. And I think that's supply chain. That's the definition of supply chain. When your product is moving from one point till it gets to your customer, it's really supply chain. And today we're talking logistics. So what is turnkey logistics? I'm just going to use this chart to describe what a turnkey logistics is. And then I own in um, on that little secret that I want to share with everybody. So logistics is, it might be a scary word for some people, but it's really simple. It's just the journey your product takes from your factory, wherever your factory is, China, India, until it gets to your customer. And if you have customer returns, then the customer returns it to you. So anywhere in the world now, you can have a store. You can be sitting in Scotland, as Alina is, and have a store, a virtual store in the US, and all this makes it really easy for anyone to live anywhere. If you're into hiking or backpacking around the world, you can enjoy whatever you're doing, and a turnkey logistic solution will really make your life easy. You can actually live the way you want these days. We're living in a very good time whereby you can pretty much do things automated. You can, have one single company take care of your production, ship it, clear customs, warehouse it for you, do your order fulfillment, and also do your customer returns. So that's what supply chain is. So that's what turnkey logistics is. You start from production, you go to freight and customs, you warehouse it, you do order fulfillment, and you do customer returns. Simple and straightforward. But there's one thing I really want to zero in on logistics that many people are not talking about and they're not looking at. And I have personal experience, and I'm going to share my story of how I bumped into it or how I discovered this thing, right? And the full disclosure, this little tip saved me, when I discovered it, saved me over $275,000 a year. It's very simple. I don't know why people are not doing it, but I'm going to explain exactly how I do it. And it should take you less than 10 minutes to do it. And, you send me gifts after you do this by yourself. And when I sold my brand, I actually made $700,000 extra just because of this little thing. So bear with me. I'll share with you. I'll disclose everything, and I'll show you exactly how to do it, right? All right. With this trick, you increase your profit instantly. Instantly. If you take 10 minutes, maximum, probably 20 minutes, you would increase your profit instantly. Two, you skyrocket your brand's value overnight. Your brand's value could almost quadruple if you do it right. And then I see many people researching products, and they shortlist products and they say, oh, I'm going to launch this product. And after they launch it, they're like, uh-oh, what's going on? My profit is not the way I thought it was going to be. I'll show you how to research product, if you're using whatever tool you're using to do your product research, I'm going to show you how to apply this little trick when you're doing it so that you don't get surprises at the end of the day. Also, you want to wonder why most of the Chinese suppliers or factories or sellers are undercutting you and they're pricing you out of competition. I mean, you're being priced out. This little trick is one of the things they use that you don't know, but they know it. They're super smart people. I have really good experience. I have a lot of friends in China. I have good experience with Chinese factories. I know there are people that have bad experiences. I think people are the same all over the world. You have the good people, you have the bad people. So it's not a matter of what country you are that determines whether you're good or bad. I think every country has good and bad. So I really don't like the label where people kind of label China as being a really bad country or bad people or something like that. I don't think it's fair, honestly. So anyway, these are some of the tricks they are using just to price you out. Also, you'll be able to find hidden gems and you'll be able to diversify your sourcing if you want to source in other countries and stuff like that. This little thing will help you to do that, right? And then you can change your production schedule after you know this little thing that I'm going to show you. And then it will keep you out of trouble with the law. You might probably be breaking the law now for the past few years and you just don't know. But by the time you apply these, you would be compliant with US laws and you can sleep better at night knowing that your business may not come to an end overnight. And most likely, finally, you might actually decide to fire your freight forwarder because this issue should have been brought up to you because you're not a freight forwarder, you're not a shipper. It's the responsibility of your freight forwarder to tell you this little secret that they're not telling you. So let's go into it. This is how it started for me. It was just an accident. This was my product before I sold this brand. In 2021, I had this brand from 2016 to 2021. And I just noticed that we were paying a lot in freight. So I decided to dig a little deeper to see how I can save money. Sometimes I'll get freight bills and it will be like 100,000. I'm like, why is everything this expensive? So I decided to dig a little deeper, and what I found really shocked me. So when I was looking at my customs documentation, so anytime you bring a product into the US or even into UK, Elena will tell you this, you are paying import duties. People don't know about that. I don't know why Amazon sellers don't realize that they're paying import duties every time you bring your product into the US. If your product costs you $2 a piece from China, by the time you bring it into the US, by the time you get to the border, the customs will assess your product and they will tell you what customs duty you must pay. In my case, I was paying 31% import duty. So that means $2 I pay to my Chinese supplier and another 31% I pay to the US customs. That's why my freight cost was getting high. So I know people are hearing this and like, I didn't know that I pay that. Yeah, you pay, you just don't know. Or your freight forwarder got the money from you and he never paid it to the US government, and you are probably on the US government's most wanted list now and you just don't know. Anyway, this means I was paying $250,000 in import duties to the US government. Actually, it was $310,000 I was paying to the US government, not to my supplier. Every time I brought in my inventory from China, I was paying a total of $310,000 to the US government as part of my import duty. So I was like, something is wrong somehow. So I went to my customs documentation. You have it. It's called Form 7501. Everybody has it. So you look into your product, tell your forwarder to send you this form. Every time they bring your product into the US, they fill out this form to declare your products to the US government. It's like you're coming from, let's say Kitty is coming to the US and you're about to land. They give you like a form on the plane and they said you have to declare how much belongings that you're bringing into the US, right? Because the US wants to charge you duties. And then you say, I'm not going to declare I'm carrying a brand new Gucci bag. Why not? Because you don't want to pay duty on that thing. So anyway, so you have to describe the product you're bringing in. So it's your customs duty or your freight forwarder person that is filling out this form on your behalf all the times you've been importing your products into the US. So when I looked into my customs documentation form, what I found really shocked me. This is the description. It says I'm bringing in a photographic plate and film, not elsewhere specified or indicated, in the flat, sensitized, unexposed of any material other than paper, paperboard, or textile. I'm like, that's not my product. And I was paying 31% duty for this product description that my freight forwarder put onto my customs form. This is why the government was charging me 31% on my importation. If you look at what I sell, it does not look like a photographic film. It's not a photographic plate or film. Why should I be paying 31% on that product? So after much digging through about 13,000 lines of customs code, I finally found the correct one my freight forwarder should have been using in the first place. I had hit a jackpot. Guess what happened? Boom. My import duty went from 31% down to 3.5 instantly. Instantly. Just because of this one single code that I found in the customs database that applies to my product, I was able to save $275,000 in savings on my cost of goods every year. This is real money. This is not virtual money. This is the money I would have paid to the US government, but I'm no longer paying because of this. Now, let me show you what the form looks like. So everybody has this form. Every time you're bringing your product into the US, I know the UK has its own type too. Everybody, your customs person or your freight forwarder completes this form every time. Ask them for this form and you'll be shocked how much money you're probably pouring down the drains to the US government. This is my own form. This is actually a screenshot of my form after I found the good codes. Look at this. See, it says my product's tariff HCS code. This is the code I'm supposed to be using when bringing my products into the US. And look at my duty rate is 3.5%. Look at the amount I'm paying in duty, 1,248. Before, I used to pay way more than that, right? So look at these real life situations. A guy, the first one is a guy, he heard about this trick that I'm sharing with you. So he sent his product to me. He said, hey, Afolabi, could you help me out? I'm paying like 27% or something. I think he was also paying 31% on his duty. He's like, something is wrong. I heard about your presentation. Could you help me out? So I'm like, okay, give me your HTS code, which is the customs code. So he gave me his customs code. Look at what I found. On his customs code, the custom code says is importing national flag. So he's paying 31% extra for importing personal flag. But look at his product. His product is not personal flag. His product is a baby stroller. But because of the customs, the person that is doing his paperwork, his freight forwarder, doesn't care. He just uses any random custom code to to import his product. He was paying $145,000 more per year just because of this silly mistake by his freight forwarder. Look at the other one. This is a friend of mine too. So when he sent me his product, I said, are you bringing a ceramic cup or you're bringing a porcelain cup? He said, my product is porcelain. I said, okay, if your product is porcelain, Your customs declaration form says you're bringing in a ceramic product, which made you pay 32.5% in duties. It's like, it's not ceramics, porcelain. I say, if it's porcelain, your duty rate just dropped to 9.8%. It's the freight forwarder or the customs broker that is making all these errors on your behalf, and you don't know, and you've been paying this duty for probably 5, 6, 7 years, losing all this money without you noticing. The next one is like a kettle. It's some really cool electronic device. It was paying 18%. By the time I checked the customs database, it was supposed to be paying 2% on that product. Huge difference. It was saving $32,170 after his product was reclassified under the right customs code. So my question is, if two sellers sell the same exact product, is it possible for one to pay 6% and the other one to pay 31%? Oh, yes, it is. And that's why that's why your competitor could sell at a lower price than you on Amazon. You're messing with PPC, you're trying to cut costs, and you're saying, no, my A cost is too high. Let me do something. How are these people doing it? It's because they know what you don't know. They have dialed in on their tariff and they're able to save based on that. And I started talking to a lot of Amazon sellers, and I found out 8 out of 10 Amazon sellers don't even know they pay import duties or how much they pay. They just get a bill from the freight forwarder and they pay it, and that's it. And they don't do anything else. They just complain, oh my God, this is so bad. So it takes 5 to 10 minutes to do it. And the step one is ask your forwarder for your CBP form 7501. Once they give it to you, look at sections 28, 33. I'll give you this, we'll give you this, presentation so that you can, you can follow these steps. This is the same steps I took. So look at, sections 28, 33, and 34 of your CBP form. It's so easy to look at. You'll see exactly what HTS code they're using for you and how much duty you're paying. Now I developed an app for you to be able to see what you're paying in duty. Just copy that HTS code and put it into my app here, app.tariffterminator.com. Just register, sign up, it's free. Put it in there, and that app will spit out to you exactly how much you're paying in duty, and it will also tell you your product description. If your product description does not match what your product really is, that means you have been overpaying or you have been paying the wrong duty for all these years. I know it could make you want to cry, but it's reality. When I discovered my own, it was a bittersweet experience knowing how much money one has been losing. So this is what it looks like. Again, I'm just showing you, this is what your form 7501 looks like. Just look at section 28, description of merchandise. Look at your HCS code here, which is your duty rate code. Look at what duty you're paying. Look at your product description on top of that HCS code. It's going to tell you, you see mine, it says writing boards, slates and boards with writing surfaces. It should tell you exactly what is, but if you go into my app, just put it in there. It's free. Put it in there. It will show you exactly how much you're paying and what your product description for that customs code is. All right, so we're going to wrap up now. In case you don't want to do it, just go to our Tariff Terminator website. We will do a free audit for you. We will take a look at your product for you. If we don't find any error or or if we don't find any savings or any error, if we find out that you're paying the right customs duty, we don't charge anything. It's all free. Just like Alex's sellers investigator, they do your reimbursement. If they don't find any reimbursements, you don't pay them anything. But if they find, they deserve the right to be paid for their work. So in the same way, it's a free audit. We will look at your product for you for free. And if we don't find anything, you're good to go. You can sleep better at night knowing that you're using the right import duty code and you're paying the right amount.